So I'm like, okay, I want to be an MMA champion. So then I just work right back. And the first thing I've got to do is take the first step and get in the gym. 10 years later, I won the belt that I set my heart on. It took me 10 years, but I got there. I think goal setting was an epiphany moment when I started to achieve goals. And I'm like, how far can I push this? Like, I'm achieving these little goals. How far can I push this? How crazy can I push these goals? And even to this day, I'm still pushing the boundaries and I'm still achieving them.
Great to hear. So when you have that long-term goal, 10-year goal, 5-10-year goal in mind, how did you like break it down? Like, was there any daily planning, or like who was you talking to get it going?
Yeah. Okay. So when I first said to my friends, we was watching UFC on the TV, and I said, fuck, I'm going to do that. And they all laughed. I mean, we're sitting there with spotty teenagers, hair all down our faces. I'm like, not really doing much with my life. And everyone just laughed. And I'm sitting there dead face like, you lot can laugh. But at that time, I see why they laugh, because that's a long way away to even consider that. But I'm like, no, I'm doing that. And then I started going to the cage rage events, and I was watching a guy called Mark Epstein, and he was holding the light heavyweight title. I said, that's the title I want. And then what do you do from there? If I set a 10-year plan, it's almost like it's never going to happen. It's like climbing up Mount Everest. It's so far away. So I just say, right, I want that belt. And then I come right the way back. Forget everything from now till then. What's the first thing I'm going to do? Well, the first thing I've got to do is get my ass in a gym. Where's the nearest gym? Go. And then start piecing it together there. If you try to plan the whole journey, first of all, best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. Any plan you set is never going to work out the way you want it to. And then when you hit milestones, you're going to feel disheartened because it's not gone the way you expected. So set the end and then just start stepping towards it. And all the time I just look at the end and forget what's in between, because the in-between bit's the tough bit. I just one step at a time and just slowly piece it together. But it does help to have a strategic mind, because things will always not go your way. Like, could be injuries, or the gym you're at might not be good enough, or whatever the problems are. So it's always good to have a very strategic and flexible mind. But I generally just set the goal, come right back to the beginning and just take the first step. And I just take it step by step until I get where I'm going.
How do you keep focus, or how did you keep focus throughout those 10 years?
I set a goal.
Yeah.
I just will not let go. I'm like a tramp on a sandwich. I can't let go.
Wow.
And I think there's times where I wanted to. There's times where I'm like, this is not worth it. The Borkow Sanchez fight, BKFC, wasn't worth it. Got to the point I wanted to sack it in about 4 or 5 times, had enough. But I set that switch in my brain. I'm going to achieve that goal no matter what. And it's not a good thing. It's a double-edged sword, let me tell you.
So you're obsessed with hitting that goal?
I obsess with it, yeah. Yeah, to the point where nothing can stop me. Nothing.
Distractions.
Huh?
You just put on your blinkers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Completely and utterly.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's very tough. When I was training for fights, a lot of my friends were out partying, and they had the girls and the clubs and all that stuff. And of course, part of me wants to go and do it. And I wasn't perfect. I slipped sometimes. I was out partying. But when I had a fight planned, like I set that date, had that opponent, that was it. There was nothing swaying me. Distractions didn't even come close. Once the fight was over, I'd be on a bender for 2 weeks. Getting back in the gym was a problem.
God, yeah.
But then I had the date set and off I go again. So for me, it was just setting goals. Once I had goal, then again, I just zone in on that goal. And it's like nothing else matters. I've said I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And that's one thing about me, my whole life. But if I tell you I'm going to be here at 12, I'll be here at 11:30. It doesn't matter what it is, however big or however small. If I've said it, I'm committed. I have to achieve that. I have to achieve that because I said I'll do it. So I don't know whether I'm fortunate to have that mindset or whether I drilled it into myself. I don't know. But if I set a goal, it's going to happen.
Reliability.
Reliability, yeah, but it's more, I don't like letting people down, because I don't like being let down.
Yeah,
right,
certainly.
But for me, it's more about me doing what I say I'm going to do.
100%.
So this was a problem for me as a kid.
Okay.
Because, or a young man, because if you're in the street or you're up to something and you make a threat to someone, if you don't pay me, blah blah blah, I'd carry that through every single time. So it was a double-edged sword. I made threats to people, wish I hadn't, said it in the spur of the moment, or was I drunk, or was I angry? but I always carried through my promise.
Mm.
And that sometimes was a problem.
I hear you.
Because, you know, we all say things when we're drunk or when we're
Yeah,
angry,
certainly.
we wish we never said. Well, I see it through.
Certainly. So what was some of like your most challenging fights throughout that 10-year period?
In the cage?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they all had their challenges. There was one guy called David Zetilowski. I talk about this guy a lot. He's actually a friend of mine now. He was one tough motherfucker. So I was at the Troxy where we used to fight. And I watched this fight, David Zetilowski against a guy called Jake Boswick. Jake Boswick was the up and coming, one of the toughest at the time. And I watched these two go toe to toe in 4-ounce gloves for 3 rounds. And I looked at my mates and went, God, you wouldn't want to fight him, would you? Because he beat this Boswick. Although they gave the win to Boswick, I swear, I watched the fight, I'd give that win to David Zetilowski. I was like, God, you wouldn't want to fight him, would you? The next week, I've got an opponent for you. It's David Zetilowski. So I phoned up my pals. I go, you're not going to believe who I'm fighting next. They said, who? I said, Zetilowski. They went, oh, fuck that. I said, yeah, I know. But hey, look, a fight's a fight. That guy tuned me up for the first round. Tuned me up. I was in the fight. He mounted me, just smashed me, hit me so hard, he knocked my gum shield out. And I was exhausted. I mean, he put me through it more than anyone ever has. I went back to my corner. I was sluncing. My coach said, stand up, breathe. Don't let him see you're tired. And I'm going, and I'm struggling. And I knew that moment my fitness was not where it needed to be because I've been winning fights quickly. This guy put me through it. I've turned around and I'm like struggling to breathe and he's bouncing around. He's ready to go. And I'm like, oh, fuck this. So I just put my hands up, walked forward. I managed to get the win in the second round.
Really?
Bro.
Wow. How?
Just hard. I wasn't giving up. I was not going to quit. He tuned me up for 2 rounds nearly. And I just managed to get him with a sub. And I got up and I said to myself, oh, I need to get back in the gym. I was not fit enough. That guy put me through it. So that was probably the toughest fight I've ever had.
Oh, wow. How
brilliant.
was the feeling when you won the belt?
Relief. Oh,
the belt.
The belt. So the journey to the belt was really tough. I mean, I've had some real difficult things to go through in my life, but injuries were horrific. I really fucked my body up because my mind is way more strong, way more powerful than my body. So my body breaks because my mind will just keep going. And I've got really bad injuries. Knee, hip, ankles, pec, arm, all from, as you can see the scar. So my body's a mess. So I had some really bad injuries where 2 times the doctor said, that's it, you're finished, you'll never fight again. And I was thinking the same when the injury happened. So only when the doctor said to me, you'll never fight again, I went, hold on. I'll decide when I don't fight again, not you. So the second the doctor said that, I was like, right, fix me up. Just fix me up as best you can and leave the rest to me. So I come back to fight for the title 2 times. The only times I lost was for that belt. So I lost to Jimmy Manuel, who was ranked #1 in the country at the time, got cut. So they stopped on blood. And I fought Linton Vassell, who was #2 at the time in the country. He now fights on Bellator. He's PFL now. And he caught me with a rear naked choke because I come back after a horrific injury. I wasn't fit. I won the first round, just wasn't fit enough for the second. And I finally got it on the third. I beat a guy called Ben Smith, who was a former heavyweight champion. I was the underdog and I smashed him in 37 seconds, just obliterated him with knees. But it was a relief because I was 39 and I said, I won't quit. If I hadn't won that belt, then I'd still be there now trying to get it.
Oh, okay.
And that's not good. That's
to get it back or
to win it.
Oh, okay, got you.
Because I hadn't won it. I'd won a British title, but I wanted the UCMA, the cage race title.
Oh, okay.
I wanted that. So that was the big one at the time. But if I hadn't won it, I'd still be there now. I'd just be getting beaten up as an old man, but I could not quit. So when I won it, I actually said to myself, thank God for that. Because I knew I'd still be there now.